Go to bed right now. I don't know who needs to hear this, but spending the next 5 hours coding until the sun comes up is by far the worst investment you will ever make in your entire life. Not only is your thinking impaired from exhaustion, but you're also tired and barely functioning, so the code you manage to produce will be absolute garbage. By far the best decision you can make right now is to turn off your computer, laptop, or whatever you're coding from and go to bed. The problem won't go anywhere, but at least you'll be able to tackle it with a fresher state of mind and more energy to actually think about the problem. From my experience, more often than not, coding past the time I would normally be in bed has ended up causing more problems in the code than the project originally had. And that was mostly due to the reasons I listed beforehand, but also because when you code for the sake of solving a problem to get to the finish line, you aren't coding for the sake of getting it right. You're coding it for the sake of getting it done, which is completely different. If I had to give an analogy on what this reminds me of, it would be the time in high school when I would write essays very last minute and I had no other choice but to finish that essay in the next 5 hours. 90% of those essays barely scraped the pass, by the way. Still passed, I guess. But the takeaway here is that if your coding project isn't deadline based and you can afford another day, take that day and just improve on what you couldn't do the day before. It's super tempting to try and get everything done in one day, but if you plan on coding this project long term, this one night of 5 hours is not going to matter in the big picture. And it may actually lead to you burning out entirely and giving up on the project after a week or so. Because when you have the choice of either grinding out a problem for a solid 5 hours or getting a good night's rest and possibly fixing that issue in 1 hour, which would you rather have? And you know what? Don't take my word for it. Try and code for the next 5 hours and you'll see within an hour or two that you can barely even think straight, let alone coherently comprehend what's going on in your code.